Welcome to the Bearcats Den with President Taylor. My name is Ivy Taylor and I'm your host. I have a very special guest here with us today, Dr. Thomas Evans, who is the 10th president of the University of the Incarnate Word, which is the largest private Catholic university in the state of Texas. Welcome, Dr. Evans.
Thank you, Dr. Taylor. So great to be here.
I'm very excited to be able to have you here. You've been here since yesterday, and the reason for your trip was to memorialize a partnership between Russ College and the University of the Incarnate Word. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that partnership?
Definitely. First, I want to say thank you to you, Dr. Taylor, and thank you to the faculty and the staff and the students here at Rust. It was an amazing day yesterday. It's such an incredible welcome, so much hospitality, and I really loved getting to know this community and spending time and especially talking with students and faculty. In this time of COVID, it's really enjoyable to be able to do that and just to really get to know them. And I was really impressed with everything that I saw and so happy about this partnership. And so I want to thank you. The viewers probably don't know that you are a trustee and actually a member of the first class of trustees that I was able to be a part of and bringing in to the University of the Incarnate Word, and how great it was through our relationship as fellow presidents, and then also the relationship with you as a trustee when we were having a conversation not that long ago. And you said, I want to help UIW any way that I can as a trustee, and maybe there are things we could do together to help each other. And then just from that thinking, I think that there is something that we can do that will really help our campuses, but help our students and to help them really succeed. And so out of that, born this idea of being able to offer to graduates of Russ College really a pathway, an opportunity to go into the health professions, the health professional schools. We have 5 schools of health profession, which is a lot for any institution, and it's especially a lot for a private institution. And those are nursing and health professions, which was really the start of the university. We were founded by the Sisters of Charity of the Incarnate Word, who came during a pandemic to San Antonio to help people that were sick and dying. And those that did unfortunately pass oftentimes had children. They've created an orphanage, then needed to educate the orphans while also educating those to be nurses and health practitioners. So it's been part of our founding. But nursing and health professions is the first of our health professional schools. Then pharmacy. We have the most diverse school of pharmacy in the country. It's in the top 20% of all schools of pharmacy, and was just listed as number 2 in the country for the outcome of a salary upon graduation. So we're really proud of that. A school of optometry that, as you know, has 2 clinics, and one of the clinics being the Bowden Center, which is in the area where you were a councilwoman before you were mayor of San Antonio. And a lot of great work that's happening there. Then a school of physical therapy, and a relatively new school of osteopathic medicine. So what we're offering to the students are guaranteed a certain number of guaranteed interview slots. So for pharmacy, optometry, osteopathic medicine, and physical therapy, 10 guaranteed interviews. And then in the case of physical therapy, actually 2 guaranteed seats for Russ College graduates in each class that comes in.
That is absolutely extraordinary. We are just so grateful. As we discussed with you, the sciences are very popular here at Russ. The largest division is our division of math and science. We have quite a few biology majors, and I think it's important for those students who are interested in biology, who may come in thinking they want to be a doctor, to understand that there are other options for them within the health professions as well.
Absolutely. I think a lot of times biology and pre-med are very popular on college campuses, and then somewhere along the time of organic chemistry, some think, well, maybe this isn't for me, but I still want to be in the health professions. So really thinking about areas like physical therapy, pharmacy, optometry, and even healthcare administration. There are so many other avenues to still be in healthcare, but then also just sticking with medicine and going into osteopathic medicine. So getting an interview is really it's a huge part of of the process in applying to a school. And it's really one of those where you really want to get the interview. So I'm excited that we can offer that many guaranteed interview slots for Rust graduates. And my hope then is, of course, that we see a pipeline of students from Rust every year into our health professional schools. And I hope that it brings more students who understand then that Rust is a liberal arts institution with great focus on sciences and popularity in that by coming here, there's an avenue then to going on to a professional school and becoming a doctor and wearing the white coat.
This will definitely be one of the things that we share with prospective students in order to let them know what the opportunities and options will be for them should they decide to matriculate at Rust College. And that pipeline that you talked about is so important because we know studies and the data show that there are disparate health outcomes in minority communities. But what's often talked about a little bit less is the correlation between access to minority healthcare professionals, the relationships with patients, perception of patient symptoms, and understanding of cultural factors that impact health outcomes. So for some of those reasons, it's so important that we get more minorities in the pipeline so that they can end up being health professionals.
I think it's of critical importance for our country and for our society. And I think so much now has really been exposed with COVID. You know, this time that we're in is really helping us, I think, broadly to understand disparities in so many ways. And the ills of that, and that we have to do more, a lot more. And as I said last night, we need more black men and women in the white coats, in the professions, in our communities, for all of those reasons, for awareness, for understanding, for connection, and also of course it's a personal benefit, but it's the individual, it's the family, it's the community, it's our country.
So many positive effects will result from this partnership. For our viewers here in Mississippi, I just want to give a little bit of context on UIW. It is a minority serving institution, but due to its location in South Texas, the minority group is Latinos.
Right. We like to say that we are an institution that truly reflects the makeup of our community in San Antonio and in South Texas. And we're about 51% Hispanic as a Hispanic serving institution. We're about 12% Black and much lower for Asian, about 2%.
Yes.
But it actually reflects, and in some cases it exceeds what we see in the makeup of the city. So we're very proud of the fact that we are a majority institution for certain. I think about 68% minority representation.
Will you talk a little bit more about UIW? You talked about its foundings and the health profession schools. What else should the viewers know about University of the Incarnate Word?
We're a rather global institution and sort of unusual in that respect too, because we have two campuses in Mexico. So one is in Mexico City and one is in Bajío, the area of Bajío. It's actually close to the city of Irapuato in the state of Guanajuato. And so I'm hoping too that maybe as we expand our partnership, we can even think of opportunities to do things with multicultural experiences, study abroad, out of what we already have, along with two study centers in Europe, one in Germany and one in France. And then we have over 140 international partnerships. So we have a very good percent of our student body that is international, and very happy about that because it lends a lot to our community as well as just all the diversity that we celebrate. And I'm hoping that we can extend again those opportunities. But it's unusual for any campus to have another university in another location, let alone two.
Yes.
So we're a bit like a system, if you will. And so there's a lot to think of. It. About 10,000 students globally, as we say, 8,000 in San Antonio. San Antonio, as you very well know, as the former mayor of the 7th largest city in the United States. It's a vibrant, exciting, very urban in a lot of ways, a lot to
Yes.
offer. And it's a tourist destination, at least when we're not in a time of a pandemic.
Yes.
So it's a popular city with a lot there's a lot happening there, a lot to do. And then a lot of our students are from South Texas. And it really expands throughout South Texas, also Houston, El Paso, but almost every state is represented. We have about 48 of the 50 that are represented on our campus, plus close to 80 international countries represented in the student body.
And UIW is located in a wonderful area of San Antonio, close to many of the cultural attractions, and it's somewhat of a compact urban campus, the main campus there in San Antonio.
It is, and we're expanding the campus. We just acquired 10 and a half more acres, which is really a lot given the urban
Yes.
setting of it, and a 400,000 square foot building. So there's a lot of excitement to happen. The campus area is actually the start of the San Antonio River. So the famous river walk sort of begins there, what we call the Blue Hole. And I like to joke that the sisters were really good at real estate because they chose great places, not only in San Antonio, but also in Mexico and Mexico City. Really nice neighborhoods that are very convenient as well. So there are a lot of museums. The zoo is close by. It's along a street called Broadway that goes right to downtown. We're almost equidistant between downtown and the airport. So very easy to to get in and out and to experience a lot of the fun. Getting downtown, getting to another place called the Pearl. That's a really fun development. So there's a lot to do. There's a lot of beauty there, but it is kind of an interesting urban setting in a very nice neighborhood for students to have access to restaurants, shopping, a lot of the conveniences, the bus route to get around, which all of our students can ride the bus then for free to get around anywhere they want to go. So it is a very convenient, nice location. Our health professions are spread out all over San Antonio in a way, and we're actually consolidating them at Brooks City Base, which is where John F. Kennedy gave his last speech before his assassination. So there's a lot of history there, and where the School of Osteopathic Medicine is where a lot of the research was done for the space program. So the moon rocks were held there. The monkeys and dogs that went into outer space were trained there.
I don't think I knew those factoids.
There's a lot more history in San Antonio because of all the military that's there too.
Yes. Well, we are going to take a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be back in a few moments to hear more from Dr. Thomas Evans about the University of the Incarnate Word and its partnership with Russ College. During this break, please enjoy a selection by the world-renowned Russ College a cappella choir under the direction of Dr. Arlandra Harvey.
Coming, Lord, I'm coming home. Coming, I'm coming home. Coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Coming, Lord, I'm coming home. Lord, I'm coming home. Coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. I looked over Jordan, and what did I see? Coming for to carry me home. A band of angels coming after me, coming for to carry me home. to carry me home. Working for the kingdom, working good, Lord. Oh, Lord, before I do, coming for to carry me home. Tell all my friends I'm coming to, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Sweet, oh Lord, coming on home, sweet, coming on home, sweet. Traveling, coming on home, sweet. Traveling, coming on home, sweet. Traveling, coming on home, coming, Lord, Sweet, low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Sweet, low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me
Welcome back to the Bearcats Den with President Taylor. I'm Ivy Taylor, your host. Today's special guest is Dr. Thomas Evans, President of the University of the Incarnate Word. Welcome back, Dr. Evans.
Thank you, Dr. Taylor.
We were just learning a little bit more about UIW, and we talked about the extraordinary partnership opportunity between UIW and Russ College, and how we hope to work together to create a pipeline of more Black healthcare professionals in white coats. We look forward to that day. I'd like to learn a little bit more about you and your path to UIW and your interests as a higher educational professional.
Well, it's a very broad, broad topic, but I'll try to address it in the context of higher education, which is just that I'm passionate about it. I love higher education. Mm-hmm. I love universities, colleges and universities, which is part of the reason I thought, you know, to have this partnership and to see you and to be here on campus and to see another campus and HBCU in Mississippi. I just couldn't wait, literally could not wait to get here and to see it. And I think the reason I really love higher education and what really drove me to the profession and to continue to doing more was I wanted to give students an opportunity to do something that they never thought they would have the ability to do. Mm-hmm. And I think some of that for me came from when I was a sophomore in high school. I wanted to go to Japan. I wanted to go abroad, and there was this opportunity to go to Japan. So I went to Japan at a pretty young age, and it was in my early teens, and lived with a family that didn't speak any English. Wow. And had to kind of literally learn. It was like relearning everything. Yeah. I mean, how to eat, with chopsticks, yeah. how a new language. I felt like I was learning everything, and I think it helped me and truly in broadening the horizons and expanding my mind to kind of think about all the opportunities and sort of ways of thinking and the appreciation for different cultures and languages and societies and people. And I loved that experience so much. I wanted to try to give others similar experiences, knowing that whatever we could do educationally was going to do the same thing to their lives and their minds and the expansion of it. So that's what really got me excited. So everything that I was doing in higher education was kind of along that, even just helping someone to go to a university that, and maybe they never thought they would be able to go to a university,
Sure.
you know, a first generation college student, and what that would mean to them and their families. And then it just sort of snowballed from there to, how do we get this student abroad? How can we create new study abroad opportunities and do it in a way that even costs less than the home campus that they were on, so that there's kind of no excuses. So I was always trying to do these kinds of things, and I think somewhat innovatively, and became kind of known for that. So as I kept progressing, people would say, well, you know, let's get Tom to do that. He could figure this out. I mean, even one of the president at St. Edward's University, where I worked, was said, you know, we need to figure out how to create an educational opportunity for ballet company, knowing that those who are in ballet are very disciplined, but you know, their bodies are going to break down probably in their early 30s, and if they don't have a college degree, you know, their options are limited. So how do we educate them while they're doing that? And so we figured that a way to do that while they were still in the ballet company. So different things like that. And it was through that I got a call. I was nominated for a presidency of a school in Montana called Carroll College, kind of the size of Rust, and tried to do the same thing there with more opportunities. And then being able to come back home to Texas and at a university that's really very interesting. As people who know me say, it's everything you love about higher education. Has a lot of international programs, campuses abroad, online learning, health professions, graduate programs, doctoral programs, online. I mean, it's kind of everything in one place. And so I just feel really blessed to be at UIW, and now to try to figure out, okay, what's the next step in creating more opportunities for students to do things that they never thought they would be able to do.
Yes.
And so I'm hoping that a student from Rust who maybe thought, I don't know if I'm going to be able to be a doctor in the health professions, yes, let's provide that opportunity and make that dream come true.
I think it's important for the viewers to know a bit about your preparation. You have a PhD in Higher Education Administration from the University of Texas at Austin, a Master of Arts in Asian Studies from UT Austin, and a Bachelor of Science in Language Arts with a minor in Theology from Georgetown University. Well, you know, Rust College has a history where we are a United Methodist affiliated institution, and so we have a history of producing lots of bishops and ministers within the Methodist Church. Will you tell us about your interest in theology and how you think that fits into modern higher education curriculum?
Yeah, it was an interest of mine that when I was taking classes at Georgetown, and there was one priest in particular, a Jesuit priest who was amazing, and I just loved to learn from him. So I kept taking his classes, and he kept kind of drawing me in and giving me more to study. And you know, a lot of people would say, well, what are you going to do with a theology degree? In fact, the director or the head of the program even said, you know, why don't you get a minor in business? That'll be more helpful for you. And I said, no, I really want to do theology. And then interestingly, the first job offer that I ever had, I didn't even apply for, and it was someone who wanted someone who spoke Japanese.
Wow.
But they said, we want to hire you, and they were going to put me in this kind of internship program to try it out and see if I liked it, and then, but you know, the job was on the other side of it. And I said, you know, I didn't apply for this, and it was a marketing professor, Japanese marketing professor at the University of Texas at Austin that introduced me to this person. And I said, you know, my friends in business, they would love this. You should talk to them. And they said, we're really interested in you because you minored in theology.
Wow.
And I said, wow, wow. I mean, why, how was that of interest to you? And they said, we have lots of people who have business backgrounds. We want someone who can think differently. And I think that, you know, the hallmark of a liberal arts education,
Yes.
right? You may be majoring in science,
Yes.
you may be, but having all of the different disciplines, and they're all fantastic, right? But I think people who, you know, hiring managers, employers know that people who have those kinds of backgrounds, they're able to think. And I think with the world that we live in today, and we say we're preparing people for jobs that don't exist right now,
Yes.
but will exist in the future.
Right.
So they need people who think, who really know how to think. And so I would say, for Russ College, great with the liberal arts to have students experience the whole breadth of it and take philosophy, take theology, minor or major in it. You may become a bishop, but you may also get hired on in business because of it.
Well, I appreciate you underscoring that value in the liberal arts education. These days and times, there often is a lot of pressure to focus on just the job outcome. And while we certainly want our students to be gainfully employed when they leave our institutions, as you mentioned, we're preparing them for jobs that don't exist. We're also preparing them for life. And I think also what our schools have in common is a focus on creating servant leaders, people who will contribute to their communities in ways beyond just their employment.
Yes, we actually require it as part of our curriculum. Our students have to do a certain number of service hours. And the understanding there is that, yes, it's required, so they're kind of forced to do service, which is an interesting concept, but from that experience, it's so rewarding that what you learn is how wonderful it is to do the service, so that you'll carry that through through the rest of your life. And I think it's something that actually makes our country special, is philanthropy, which is at a level that you don't see anywhere else, and service and giving back. So the more that we can do that in a holistic education, I think getting back to theology, the spiritual side, the physical, taking care of yourself, and of course the mental, but then all really in service is where we really hit our stride.
Well, one of the other strengths of the American higher education system is just the diversity. And so looking at the two distinct institutions that are represented here today is an example of that. But I'd just like to ask you, as someone who's been in higher education for a while, what your impression, knowledge, and understanding of HBCUs was before this partnership.
Great question. I had, my knowledge really came through colleagues that in higher education that were working at Clark, Atlanta, for example. I was working at the National Association of Graduate Admissions Professionals on a board, and so one of the members of the board was from that institution, and also living in Austin, knowing Houston Tillotson, and getting to know people, whether they were professors or staff members. And I think one of the big takeaways for me with that, my mother went to an all-women's college in Northern California called Mills College. And I always asked her, why did you decide to go to an all-women's college? And she said, because I really wanted to learn and to be really free in the learning, and I felt that I could do that without a lot of distraction in being at not being at a co-ed school. And I think one of the great things about HBCUs is being in a community where you have a certain freedom with people who are like you, but there's a freedom from a lot of other distractions. I think in being able to do that, and we've seen so many incredible graduates out of HBCUs who've truly changed our country, changed the world. And there's just so much value there, but I need to learn more.
Okay.
And so so I'm hoping you will be able to teach me more about HBCUs, and by being here and interacting with you and with faculty and staff, I need to learn a lot more. So I'm here to observe and listen and absorb.
Really looking forward to the opportunity to share as I continue to learn on this journey. And Dr. Evans, we're just so grateful for your presence here. We're grateful for your vision in relation to this partnership, and we look forward to creating that pipeline of healthcare professionals through this collaboration.
I'm really excited about this start to a great relationship that will just strengthen over time. Thank you so much for having me here and for the incredible hospitality and for being on this show and being able to connect with your incredible community. Thank you.
Thanks so much for tuning in to the Bearcats Den with President Taylor. I'm Ivy Taylor, and we'll see you next time.